Hi, this is Sue Jackson of the Book by Book blog, and I'm here with another Friday Reads. I am fully immersed in Big Book Summer, as are many other people. I've just been blown away by the response this year. This is the 12th year that I've hosted this challenge, but I guess word got out this year. Loads of people here on BookTube have joined in, lots of bloggers as usual, and lots and lots and lots, dozens and dozens of readers have joined our Goodreads group. So we're having some great big book chats. As you can see, there is some big book merch that you can get. Mugs like this one. Got my notebook. My bookmark. And lots of other things. And I should have mentioned before, my new shop is on Printify, and I've got a lot of different items there, but if there's something else that Printify carries that I haven't made yet, just let me know and I'll add it to the shop. But there's all kinds of things. I've got the t-shirt now. There are magnets and stickers and a wine glass that keeps your wine cool. Insulated mugs, all kinds of fun stuff. So join the Big Book Summer Fun. It's very easy to do. I'll add the links below to my blog, which has all the guidelines, and my Big Book Summer video. So I dove headfirst into Big Book Summer with this chunkster, Lonesome Dove by Larry McMurtry. I should have mentioned that big books don't necessarily have to be this big. This one's 850 pages, but any book of 400 or more pages counts, and you've got the whole summer to read it. So I am starting off with this big one because it is also June on the Range, another really fun annual summer event here on BookTube. It is hosted by Michael K. Vaughan and a whole posse of co-hosts. I will include the list down below. You can check out any of their channels to get the scoop on June on the Range. So this was the perfect crossover book for both Big Book Summer and June on the Range. I'm already at about page 220. I am really enjoying this. People have been telling me for years, and especially since I mentioned that this was in my Big Book Summer stack, that this was just a fabulous book, that it's actually a fast read. They were all right. It is wonderful. I am loving the characters. There's a great sense of humor in this novel, which, if you've watched my channel before, you know that is the way to my heart. Any book with a sense of humor usually grabs me. So it is the story of two older men who are ex-Texas Rangers. It's about 1870, and Gus and Cal run a little tiny business, a livery business, basically, with cows and horses. Although at the beginning of the novel, they don't actually have any cows. It's a very small operation. The town is called Lonesome Dove, and it is a tiny, dust-filled town on the Mexican border. They can see Mexico right across the Rio Grande. And in fact, when they need cows or horses, they go to Mexico to steal them. And apparently the Mexicans do the same with the Texans. So the horses and cows are kind of going back and forth. But at the beginning of this novel, you get a sense of the quiet, routine life that this outfit has been leading. These two men who lead it, and the few other employees that they have. And then one of their ex-Texas Ranger buddies rides into town and tells them about Montana, how amazing it is there, how great it is for cattle, how there is opportunity to be made. And one of the men, Cal, gets it in his head that they are going to get together a big group of cattle and remember they don't have any at the beginning, and heard them all the way from the Mexico border all the way to Montana. So that's kind of the framework here. I am just at the part where they are ready to leave on their big trip. It's a delightful novel. The characters are great. They are sometimes funny, but what I like about the way McMurtry has written this novel is that you get the different perspectives of all the characters. There's young Newt, who's only, I don't know, he's an older teenager at the beginning of this novel. His mother died. His mother was the prostitute in town. She died, and they kind of adopted him. There's a new prostitute in town, new since Newt's mother died, named Lorena. You get her perspective as well. So I thought at the beginning this was going to be very male-centric, and it is, but Lorena has a full perspective here, and you get to know her. So you do have a little bit of a woman's perspective as well. And the other men involved in the cattle drive. So really, really enjoying Lonesome Dove. Thank you to everyone who recommended it to me. And because when I said I was reading this for Big Book Summer, so many other people said that they were going to read it as well, that I have made it the official read-along for Big Book Summer. So we've got a couple of special discussion threads in the Goodreads group. If you are also reading Lonesome Dove this summer, please join the group and join in the discussions. I am also listening to a big book on audio, as I tend to do all summer long, and it is just stunning. I'm listening to The Women by Kristen Hanna, and again, I have heard so many people just rave about this book, and they were all right. This is just such an amazing novel. It's about the women that went to Vietnam during the war, and how most people thought there were no women in Vietnam. So they didn't get any recognition. They didn't even get acknowledged. The novel centers on one young woman named Frankie. She grew up in California, military family. Her brother was in the Navy and went to war. And so when she finished nursing school, she impulsively signed up, thinking that her dad would be so proud of her because he's always talking about the history of service in their family, and he's not. He has a completely different reaction because she's a girl. So she goes to Vietnam when she is only 21 years old. She is just thrown into it her very first day. And she's just graduated nursing school. She has very little practical experience. She is just thrown into it and sees just horrifying things as a surgical nurse during the war. But the novel also deals with what happens after the war, the way that the veterans were treated when they came home, which was horrifying, the post-traumatic stress disorder that they suffered from, although of course it wasn't given a name for a long time. So Frankie, we see all of this through Frankie's eyes, and those of her two best friends from the war, Barb and Ethel. No one else can understand what they went through except each other. And so I'm very close to the end now. It's coming full circle, and we are finally, decades later, seeing Frankie begin to heal. But it is a long, challenging road. It's just a stunning novel. I highly recommend it. It is excellent on audio. I've just been glued to my iPod since I started it. That's The Women by Kristen Hanna. So that's what I'm reading this weekend. Please let me know in the comments below what you're reading.